riding hooks, got me feeling like a rook. I don't do it by the book, but for you I'll take a look. Don't know what your mama took, sweet and spicy like a cook, yeah. I'll keep it real, let's make a deal. Buy you a meal if you just let me feel. Get out your heels, grab on the wheel. Back to my place at the top of the hill. Don't have regrets, I know what's next. She need a fresh, I'll be back in a sec. Look at them legs, don't make me beg. Back to the room, let me show you my bed. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. I could look at you all day, watch the way them hips sway. Love your body, so I pray, don't you dare take it away. Can't control what I say, lost my mind cause your frame. Hey girl, what's your name? Lit me up just like a flame. Body in motion, I feel the commotion, beyond you like lotion. I'm honest and broken, I flow like the ocean. I feel you were chosen to fix me, I'm broken. My heart that you stolen, hey. Stay with me, play with me, lay with me. Hate to see when you leave, chemistry feels like it's destiny. I just want you laying next to me, and I really don't want you to ever leave. On your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the ninth inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, hear them scream, okay, it's a dream. And I pray as a team, one day it'll be me. If I want it, then I get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit. Have no shame, I admit it. Looking right at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now. Swear to God, man, I'ma make it soon. Silence all the haters as they see us making moves. I do what I want, so I got nothing to prove. Staying motivated, teaching others what to do. I'm staying focused, my mind is open. They start to notice that I'm in motion. There is no potion, you're not just chosen. It takes devotion to stay composed, man. Never stop, there ain't no time to fall. Try to live, get it all, you got one life to ball. Thinking big, never small, cause you gotta want it all. When you finally get that call, you get ready, take it on. Need a hand out, I already stand out. Starting to advance now, ready to expand now. You don't have a chance now, cause we're in demand now. Make it by the grand now, feeling in command now. They're looking right at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes, but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off as friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the NEXXTCAR Podcast. That's right, we are finally back after 3 weeks of being gone. And like always, we are joined by our two co-hosts, Peyton Tullock and Matt Tucker. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, Roddy?
How's it going?
Not much. Man, it's been a while. We got to start getting into these podcasts a little sooner because we find ourselves now with 3 weeks of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we've had a lot of action on the next side. Getting down to it, last race of the regular season for our inaugural playoffs. Well, playoff format that we've had for this season. So, not the cutoff races tonight. So some guys will not make the playoffs. We got that to think about, and then we also have the regular season championship battle between good old Peyton up there and Don Francesco too. So it's gonna be interesting how things go tonight. But we've had a lot of action though the last couple weeks in both the truck and the Cup Series as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you cannot forget about Nicholas Trudeau, man. He's right there with him, just 4 points behind him in the regular season standings. So it's anyone's game for those extra bonus points heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle in Michigan. Me missing has kind of really opened up the door yet again. I'm getting some deja vu from season one. But both I got the Nick and Nick show right behind me, so it should be a little bit fun. It's surprising when I went into the points and looked at everything. Like, you got to give credit to Nick, man. He's had kind of a rough year, and to be where he is in points and have a shot at it in Michigan's really surprising with all the trouble he's had. So I'm sure he's going to give it his all at Michigan, and it should be fun.
And the thing that really, strikes surprising about me with Nick Trudeau is the fact that he's coming through this season with no wins. Like you said, he's had a rough year. The big thing that really kind of sticks out to me was Pocono. Pocono obviously was not a great race for him. He went on to win that stage, but then he kind of fell off there a little bit. So definitely had a truck to beat there, but just he has not been able to complete races. And that's the same on the Cup side as well. The man, he has good stage finishes, but then gets caught up in a lot of stuff, just like a lot of us do. And Matt, you know all about that, man.
Yeah, going back, I mean, it's kind of been like the story of the season with the way my season's gone in the trucks with finishing almost next to last at Daytona and then missing the following week. But I've had a lot of good, solid races in the truck series. I mean, I've got a good battle with Jonathan tonight. We're tied in points, so just try to get extra bonus points going to the playoffs because those are going to be critical. So because we go from so we got 6 races in our playoffs. So the first three races will be round one. So we'll cut basically half the field. So yeah, every bonus point's going to be key because you never know you're going to have a bad race or someone gets into you and you'll be hurting for points. So, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But no, the NEXXTCAR season, it's the way that we've had the point structure with the stage that we've implemented. It's had a lot of drama. So had some guys battle for those stage points and the end of the race points too. So it's been a great season so far, great regular season, and can't wait for the playoffs coming up.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the playoffs a little bit here. Obviously, tonight Michigan ends the regular season, but then in the playoffs, you mentioned it, 6 races, none are easy at all. Round number 1, you got Indianapolis Speedway, then you got Darlington, excuse me, then you got Kansas. 3 completely different style tracks there in round 1. Then if you're lucky enough to make it through round 2, you got 2 races. You got Auto Club and then Dover. Dover, Miles the Monster, always has a reputation around the NASCAR circuit. Definitely not an easy round there either. So as you progress through these playoffs, it does not get easier for anyone advancing. And then, the championship round at Homestead, Miami, throwing it back to pre-2019 with NASCAR, going back to Homestead, Miami. So, if you're lucky enough to make round number 1, and then you're lucky enough to make round number 2, well, it does not get any easier for you throughout these playoffs.
Yeah, it's an extremely interesting group of tracks we got for the playoffs. I think round 1 is going to be kind of wild because Indianapolis, we've never ran at, I believe. I know I haven't. So
Not
we've
in
never ran
NASCAR.
there.
We did
Yeah.
Indy. We did, what was that, the Indy cars that day?
That was a fun race, but an actual
Mhm.
race in NEXXTCAR there in NASCAR cars never happened. So that's a big question mark. Darlington is a tough track to pass. It's got its issues. It is a tough track, and it will be a pain in some guys' sides. So that's going to be an interesting race. And then Kansas, I mean, it is a massive track that usually has good racing. It's a track that I have somewhat struggled in the past, so me personally, I'm a little worried about that race. But yeah, round 1 has its interesting challenges, and then like you said, I mean, we ended off with Auto Club, Dover, and then Homestead for championship race, and all those tracks have historically had really good racing in NEXXTCAR. So really excited to see how the playoffs goes, but we got to figure out who's going to make it first.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the big story of tonight's race. We've kind of hinted on it a little bit. You're in a big battle between yourself and Nicholas Don Francisco and Nick Trudeau. And then, Tuck, you're still looking for that elusive first win of the season. What would a win finally getting to victory lane here at Michigan, the last race of the regular season, what would that do for you heading into the playoffs, Tuck?
I just would give a little bit more points. So like to get some more bonus points. So because I'm kind of like right on that cut, like of 5th to 8th. So the way we'll reseed, so I don't know how many I'll be above the cutoff. So getting a win's crucial but just maximizing the point total too, getting all the stage points can tonight. So but just I've done it on the cup side, just not the truck side. Seems like every NEXXTCAR season I'm either good in trucks, bad in cup, or good in cup and bad in trucks. So there's kind of the flip flop here. So good in cup, bad in truck this year, but can't complain. The top 5 in points for the regular season after missing 1 race too. So we'll try to get it going tonight. But Michigan's going to be basically a kind of a not. It'll be a kind of a plate style, but not like you'll see like Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. It's just going to be more single file to get your runs and then try to execute going into the execute off those runs too. So it's going to be interesting. And I'll just say this though: if we have a late race caution coming off turn 4, I would not want to be in the lead. I'd really be that guy in second, trying to make that move. So if you're in the lead, you might be a sitting duck tonight. But we've seen how these races play out. You expect the unexpected, and we'll just see how it goes tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned it's going to be a lot of single file until it gets to the corners because this track is wide. You can run high, you can run middle, you can run low, and they all work basically the same. Obviously, yes, the high side has the bigger advantage off the corner, but if you can drive it deep down on the inside and, when you think of slide jobs, you don't really think a whole lot of Michigan. At least I personally don't. But that's going to be a big thing tonight is you're going to have to, like you said, you're going to have to take those runs when you can, and there's going to be a lot of setting guys up tonight and, making those passes when they present to you. But, like you said, you do not want to be the leader here coming out of turn 4, especially if that guy's right on your back bumper. Because unlike Daytona and Talladega and now Atlanta, you can't go below that line and cut that apron a little bit. Well, at Michigan, there's nothing that says you can't, and that apron at Michigan does give you a little bit of an advantage.
That's the thing. I feel like if you hit the apron just right at Michigan, it'll get your truck squirrely. You're gonna have to like try to catch it going up. I think we've I forget if we've raced in Michigan before. I can't really
I don't think
recall,
so.
but I don't think so either. So I think this might be the first race tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But from what I've raced in like official races, it's always been that you don't want to get your left sides on the apron because it'll get you a little bit of out of shape, out of sorts. So, but we'll see how it plays out. I think this track actually kind of suits Peyton's style. So he's one on the bigger tracks before with Pocono earlier this season. So I think if Peyton gets a good qualifying run and gets up front, he's a tough guy to battle, as we've seen in Cup, tough to pass. So, but we'll see how it goes because I think he might, because if we know Peyton and he wants to get those 15 more bonus points, so he's gonna do whatever it takes.
Yeah, man, of course I am. But like you said, Michigan is one hell of a track. You talked about last lap wanting to be second. Hey, third is pretty good too. We've seen that in the past, at least on Heat 5. So it should be very interesting to track. I think the most interesting thing about Michigan is the fact that you really can't run away, like, because the draft and everything is so big. You're not going to see a guy tonight, most likely, unless they are just killing it, save tires, and pulled away. You're not going to see the leader just run away and get a gap between second. But what you can do is if the guys in front behave, they can separate themselves from the pack and go run away with it. So I'll be very interested to see if the quick guys can kind of sort it out and kind of run away and gap it so then they have a gap between the pack, or if they, fool around and we have a massive pack pretty much the whole race. Um, but yeah, it's one of those tracks that you want to be like in clean air. You want to have control go in the corner, and I think qualifying is gonna be really big. Like in your head, it's like draft track probably don't matter where you start, but I think the guy who starts up front and can get control of the race is gonna have a massive advantage for the whole race. So it'll be an interesting race.
Yeah, absolutely. And something else that we've mentioned it, setting guys up and stuff, and something that the leader can definitely do is, try to take that line away from someone. You mentioned it, that dirty air you don't want to be in. You want to be in that clean air, and that guy behind you is just a little quicker. When you take that line away from him and give yourself back a little bit of an advantage. But we talked about the rounds of the playoffs, and as we pull up our playoffs standings here right now, Duncan, Bolander, Pendel, Tulloch, Don Francisco, all getting wins this week. And you got Trudeau advancing in on points, along with Tucker and Babcock. And then right below those guys are Chandler and J.D. Larson. J.D.'s having himself a fantastic year so far. Then you got Christopher Thomas, Bloodworth, Cole Larson, Henning, Abar, and Bocock right above the playoff line. But, that tells the story now. But as each round goes, the field gets cut in half. 16 guys make the playoffs. Round number 2 is 8 guys, and then 4 into the championship round. So, right now you might be sitting pretty good. I mean, Henning plus 28, Cole Larson plus 32. But when these things get reseeded, you might find yourself well below that cutoff line heading into round number 1.
Yeah,
Which
but I
also,
do want. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay. It's also a good moment, like Ronnie kind of alluded to it there. We're getting down the nitty gritty here. It's gonna be really tight for some guys, but you got to give guys credit. There's guys right now that are sitting in points that I think entering the season that we didn't think they were going to be there in points. Not to jab them or anything, but historically, not a lot of people had faith in these guys, and they have showed up. I mean, JD has had a fantastic season. He is a start and pretty much in this weekend. Hey, his son Cole has had an excellent season. It would take a lot for him to miss the playoffs at this point, especially if he starts. So, I mean, the list goes on. We could talk about all kinds of guys. Sheep, Bloodworth, Alberto has had a good season. David has had a rebound season. There is a heck of a field in the back, and honestly, there's not really many guys that you look at that's like they can't get out of the first round. Like the field is stacked in the playoffs from top to bottom. And it's going to make one hell of a show. And not only that, near the cutoff line in both series, we have really good guys right there. Right now, Steve Bocock is the last guy in, but Ingram, he has missed races but had speed when he's came. If he shows up this week, it's going to be a tight battle between him and Steve. So I look forward to see how these guys strategize for Michigan and how it all plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think, we have a winner that won this season, but is not in the playoffs in Brandon Dunford. So had he have made the required 7 races of the regular season, we're talking about something completely different right now. That the playoff battle between the teammates Abar and Bocock would be continuing, but now obviously it's shifted more to Bocock and Ingram. And you mentioned it, Cedric Ingram, a rookie, but had the speed at Charlotte and then had the speed last week to get it done. Cedric Ingram has definitely picked it up. You mentioned he's missed a couple races. Excuse me. But when he has made it, the dude has had speed.
I think he's going to be the biggest like wild card factor tonight because, like you mentioned, I think back to that Charlotte race because I think he had that battle with Don Francesco, and if he gets around Don Francesco like 3 or 4 laps earlier, he catches John Duncan and wins that race, and we're talking about hitting and we're talking about Alberto and Steve as the cutoff right now instead of Steve and Cedric. So I think it's going to come down to if Cedric if he shows up tonight, obviously, but also that first stage if he gets some crucial stage points and Steve's around 10th, 11th, 12th, so that's gonna cut that line down, man, and it's gonna be interesting to see who kind of folds under pressure. So I don't know if I know Steve doesn't really he always goes with that don't give a crap attitude. So he'll be trying to do whatever it takes. I know you guys are gonna try to help him get in those playoffs with you being his teammates too. So I think that I'm gonna do whatever I can to try to help Cam get a win because I don't think he can get up there in points. He's 74 back, but do whatever we can try to help him. So Michigan's a plate kind of style track. So and Cam also had a great run earlier when I was that first week at Las Vegas too. So I think he was running top 5. So he proves that he can run up front. It's just a matter of if it fits his style, which I think Michigan does. So to get him up front, try to help him, push him. So you never know what's going to happen. So it's just going to come down to whoever executes the best, and we'll see. So if Alberto misses, that's also a big out. So because he's only like what 11, 15, 31. That's really good. So it's gonna be interesting tonight. So, but that's why we made up this schedule. Good kudos to Ronnie with making the schedule the way it is with these cutoff races being kind of a little bit chaotic. So, but we'll see how it goes tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk about Abar real quick. The dude was sitting pretty well until that guy you're battling for that regular season championship the last 2 weeks decided to he had enough of Abar and wrecked him, in Atlanta, and then wrecked him last week.
in the cup. Yeah,
He had a top 5 going both races until Don Francisco had enough of that. But
Yeah.
Abar, a couple things go different for these guys. I mean, obviously, yeah, hindsight's always 20/20, but a couple things go a little different for a couple guys. These standings are completely different.
Yeah, just as for Alberto, I'm interested to see how he treats Michigan. I mean, I know we're in a tight battle, but is he mad at Don Francisco? If I'm Don Francisco, I'm a little worried. Like, is Alberto going to make it really hard on me at Michigan? We'll see. But I think the guy that's probably in the most interesting, exciting seat entering this week in both series has to be Steve, man. Steve is on the flip side of both things. He's in both seats, as in trucks. He is the guy that's playing defense and trying, or yes, right, yes. He is the guy playing defense. Has to make sure he holds on to those points. But in Cup, he's on the flip side of the line. He is the first guy out instead of being the last guy in. He has to be aggressive. He has to go get stage points. So I'm very excited to see how Steve plans out this week because I think in both series, the guy who is under the point line right now is been averagely the quicker guy. It's just they've missed races. So I think by the end of both series, I think that cutoff is going to be in the single digits, and it'll be all about who can get stage points, who can lead laps, and who can get like a top 5 finish. So I know Steve's probably nervous, and I'm hoping to see him succeed. But man, I feel like Ronnie's gonna have fun watching him throughout this week.
Oh, absolutely. Steve always puts on a show. Whether it's up in the booth watching his driving or whether it's, in the cup car listening to him, he always puts on a show. You never know what's coming next.
And
But
he's gonna do whatever it takes. So if it's at the very end and he knows how many points he's out or whatever, he's gonna do whatever it takes to get those points. So he's kind of a miniature Ross Chastain away in that like. So I'm very interested to see what he does.
I think the Steve quote of the year was literally last week in the Cup Series when he was like 10th on that last restart and ends up second. He goes, "How do you idiots let me finish second?" So I think that's the quote of the year because if we think about it too, because that everybody crashed on the last lap at New Hampshire because he's now 16 points out of the cut. Like if he doesn't finish there, he's 26. So
Yep.
so that mattered. So in which is kind of ironic though because he's 15 points good on the truck side. Peyton mentioned this. 15 points to good on the truck, and he's 16 behind in the cup. So it's kind of like the tale of two races, like trying to protect his lead in the truck. So two different racing styles, but knowing Steve, he's just going to race hard both the same. So it's not going to be him doing whatever. So we'll see. It'll be kind of interesting to track, and I just hope it Michigan puts on a good show. We've had a good last couple of races in the trucks, and hopefully it also lives up to the hype.
Yeah, I think there's going to be two things that and then we'll move on to our next topic that determine how Steve's race is going to go in the cup side. If he misses out on stage points, that puts him in a must-win situation. You're going to see Steve probably do some aggressive things. But if he gets a decent amount of stage points, finishes 5th or better, he's going to be going for the long run then. But if he gets one stage point, that's not going to help him enough, being 16 back. So I think a couple different things are going to determine what kind of Steve we're going to see in the second half of that cup race in Michigan. So it's going to be a tale of two stories for him this weekend.
Based on the stats, like I went and looked at it, based on how Lonnie and him have ran all season, if I think the story for Steve is he's got to basically run around 3rd to 5th at least all race. He's got to finish in the top 5 in the stage and then finish up there at the end of the race, and I hope Lonnie finishes around 15th or so to have a reasonable shot to make up that gap. And leading laps is important. I guarantee you, Lonnie, if I'm Lonnie, he's done it all season, finds a way to lead a lap in our yellow. That's important. I think it's gonna be really tight with them and Steve. But if Steve fails to get any stage points, I think you're right. I think it becomes either he has to finish amazing and Lonnie just wreck out or win. So yeah, I mean, good luck to Steve, man. It's exciting.
Absolutely.
Also,
go ahead.
I was just gonna end on this for talking about trucks for the battle tonight, but
Oh.
the guys that could possibly make it below Steve for tonight are Cedric Ingram, Cam Jester, and David Smith. So those are all 3 guys that could win. So for you to be tracking Ronnie. So
and David Smith on that last restart, let's not forget he was the leader at Atlanta on that last restart. Obviously spun the tires, got himself in a 3-wide situation heading down into turn 1, and then we all know the story of getting door slammed onto the apron. But talk about guys, a couple different things going a different way for guys, and the playoffs are completely different. Had he not spun those tires, he may have found himself heading to victory lane. So you can't sleep on David Smith either. He knows how to get it done at these bigger tracks too.
Are we gonna go to Cup next? Or
Yeah.
we moving now? Okay. Let me shut up.
Well, what do you got?
I was gonna say entering the Cup thing. We talked about Cedric Ingram just then, talking about how he's in a big battle and really almost won a race this year. We'll transition to Cup. Same thing can be said for David. I mean, David had Pocono, and a late race yellow happens, and look at him now. David's in a must-win this week with how he is in points. So it's crazy to look back at the season and just notice these small things that changed the whole season. So David has speed, and I think he will definitely be a threat, and we can't just ignore him at Michigan. Plus, he has good teammates that usually works really good together. So I wouldn't count David out just yet.
Not at all. But yeah, let's switch over to your Cup standings here. Tuck, you got your second win last week at New Hampshire. You're tied with Duncan in 2 wins. Then you got Broadbeck, Babcock, Tulloch, and Frank Hughes and Hunter Manley all going to victory lane this season. So a lot of different winners there in the first 9 races. You got 3, 6, 7 different winners out of 9 races. So the Cup Series started out the first 6 races with 6 different winners. Then you got Austin Walton, Sean Walton, both locking themselves in, and then Bolander and myself, and then Abar and Trudeau, they find themselves in a really good battle. But the battle that we got to talk about here are the 2 Hugheses, Dominic and Justin, both +7 above the cutoff line, tied going into the final race with Lonnie right behind them. And then obviously we've talked about Bo Cock being 16 back, and we talked about David Chandler now finding himself 59 back after a Pocono that could have been.
The crazy thing about that is how diverse our whole league has been this year, because we have a bunch of guys in Cup that don't race trucks, and we have a bunch of guys in trucks that don't race Cup. So this has been the most consistent we've had multiple guys in our league. But that's another thing to talk about. But like you said about the Cup playoff cut line, so I don't really know the relationship between the Hugheses, who's how that works, but
whose brother and all that.
Yeah, whose brother, whose dad, whose nephew, who's second to third cousin, whatever. But anyway, so just how they're gonna manage that, because if I'm racing each other hard for the stage points, I would not want to crash like him, because if that happens, that could end your season right there, because let's say Steve's running top 5 the whole race he has shown in the past, and he gets stage points, and that could literally end one of their seasons. So
not only would it end a season, it'd make for a really awkward Thanksgiving dinner coming up.
It would. That kind of reminds me of the Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch situation at
Charlotte
All-Star race. So,
yep.
So yeah, I mean, NEXXTCAR regular season finale, NASCAR All-Star race, it's the same thing. So. But it's just gonna be a good battle. So looking forward to seeing it. So, and hopefully those guys stick around, because those are the ones that make and break our league, having numbers, and seeing them trying to make the playoffs too. I mean, it's got to make them feel good as well.
Yeah, that's one thing that I want everybody to remember is, just like real life NASCAR, even if you don't make the playoffs, I mean, you still got a lot to race for. I mean, we have 6 races to go. There are checker flags to be earned. There is a list of your name added on. So there's definitely a reason for these guys to keep racing, keep building for next season. So I hope to see those guys continue to show out, because a lot of them a lot of guys have shown promise that have speed. It's just they miss races. So these guys have speed. This league is really tight in competition from top to bottom. So I hope these guys continue to show up and run confidently.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to lead me into my next thing here with the Cup Series. Tuck, you're up 23 points over Broadbeck in regular season standings. And then there's a pretty decent gap back to Broadbeck, all the way back to 3rd and Walton. But from there on back, it is a tight battle in points. Not looking at the playoff standings, in actual point standings. It is a tight battle. You take, Tuck out of the equation and Broadbeck out of the equation, no one has ran away with 3rd on back this season. So, you mentioned it, the competition is tight. And, just the playoff standings show it as well. +78, +75, +70, +67, for those that haven't won. The standings are about as tight as they could possibly be right now.
In between 3rd and 10th, it's separation by only 38 points. So
that is insane.
Austin Walton has 288, and Nick Trudeau's got 250. So Austin's in 3rd, and Nick's down in 10th. So it's it's gonna be interesting to see how those points because where you finish in the regular season matters, and yeah, so we'll see how that ends up.
Yeah. That's why I
What
got
is
to
that
start making
squeaking?
races, man. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Are you writing with a Sharpie or something?
I'm going fuck there, but
No, my dog brought me her pumpkin.
Oh,
it's a, but that leads off to a friendly reminder of how
There you go.
important it is to just make races. Like
Mhm.
I was up there in points, and then walking squid, iRacing refuses to let me race. Screw you, iRacing. And then y'all missed a race last week due to being at the Roval. So instead of being up there, I found myself in like Ronnie said, a heated battle. I didn't really want to pay attention to points because I knew I was kind of out of it for the championship regular season at least. But yeah, I looked at it just yesterday, like, where am I sitting? And then I noticed, I'm like, holy cow, I'm in a dead middle of this crazy battle. So, still got a lot to race for. Every point matters in the playoffs, and those points could be the difference of life and death. So, there is a bunch of battles in both series going on this weekend. There's a lot of guys under a blanket in points on both sides, so a lot to race for.
yeah, absolutely. I'm going for it all this weekend.
Yeah, it's just
Michigan's a
full
good
spin.
track for me. Yeah, I've won quite a few official races there, so I'm hoping that carries over into the league race. So,
Truck, I gotta be pretty smart. But Cup, it's full send. I
Mhm.
don't care. Like,
yep, already locked
Yeah.
in. So what's the point at this point? Going for it all. Go
I just
big or go
wanna
home.
I just want to finish in the top 10. That way I can go 10 for 10 the regular season. So
oh my lord.
There you
this
go.
guy.
I think
if-
I threw out my my top 10 streak last week when I wrecked it out at turn number 4.
I've had
I,
6 top 5s and 9 top 10s. Nice, but we'll see how that ends up.
How do you get this?
My
Oh.
my streak ended in truck last week. Well, the week before, due to Lana me wrecking on the last lap in second. So
I didn't
that's
realize you
sad.
could click on a person's name and get their stats like that.
Yeah.
we were doing that
Yeah,
last night.
kinda
It's
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got
You can
2
see
top
either
5s
instances.
and 6 top 10s. Oh boy.
Well, also, if you look on the regular
Pretty
season
good.
standings, it says that too.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, if you
You
scroll
can-
over to the right.
You can look at some like detailed stat though, like incidents per lap and stuff. Like there's some cool
Yeah.
things in there.
Can we talk about this one thing too? So we got Hunter down in 15th with 1 win. Lonnie's the cutoff right now in 14th in the standings. So who also has the 1 win that's below? Or is that
Camaro, Bout Crop.
where is Camaro? Oh yeah, he's 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got 2 guys down in 15th and 17th that have wins. So it's kind of crazy to me that we got guys in 12th and tied for 12th and then 14th in the regular season standings that wouldn't have to be worrying about making the playoffs if those 2 guys below didn't have their wins. I know Hunter got his win at Daytona to kick off the season, and then Camaro got his win at Charlotte. So
That
if
just
those
shows
guys
you-
don't win those, huh?
Go ahead. It just shows you how important it is to win. I
Mhm.
mean, Hunter starts off the year with a win in Daytona, and that as long as he makes enough races, clinches his ticket. So he's had that knowledge all season. So he's used that to his advantage. And then Robert Babcock, he was in a rough situation, and ends up going out there and winning Charlotte. And if he didn't win that race, he'd be in a must-win this weekend. So winning is key, just like in NASCAR.
also-
I was gonna say that
Robert-
takes me back
Robert
to the
has to
Blaney
start
and
tonight.
Truex.
Yeah.
Robert has to start tonight. He's got 6
Mhm.
races, or tomorrow night.
Or
So
he knows.
if he doesn't start, then
I think he's
He
pretty
knows.
well aware.
He's
Oh, I
pretty
know
well
he
aware.
I know he is. I know
Look
he
at-
is. I'm just
I-
saying. I'm just saying. It would be kind of funny if he doesn't start. So.
And then all this talk is for nothing.
Exactly. that's what
Steve
yeah,
gets in.
exactly.
I can promise you that dude's gonna do whatever it takes. A hurricane comes by his house, he's going through it. If the power goes out, he's probably buying a $3,000 generator. I mean, that dude is on it.
Well, he's up in like New England area,
Hey,
so I
you
don't
never
think
know.
Hey,
he
you might
got-
get hit with a freaky
you can.
snowstorm.
You can,
That's
yeah, freaky
true.
snowstorm.
I mean, part of the U.S. is already getting snow, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like you said, it's crazy if that's happening. But that takes me right back to the Blaney and Truex. What, 2 years ago? Last year? 2 years ago?
last year.
Sitting second and third in regular season standings, and one of them wasn't going to make it. That's the NASCAR that NASCAR wanted. You didn't want something to be settled 5 races into the season. So that's the way racing is now. And that's what makes it interesting. You don't know what's going to happen, So, but
that's what's fun. Guys still have opportunity. Like I think we
Mhm.
talked about D. I forget which series it is. Like he's a winning in guy and he's shown speed. So we have no idea. We're talking about guys and some dude could come out in the middle of nowhere and go win the race and just completely changes the playoff grid. And that's the thing, guys like Steve have to remember. The guys who are barely in certain series, all it takes is one guy from below the cutoff line to win, and then, man, you're in a different spot than you thought you were.
So the guys below the cutoff in Cup that have a possibility to get in are Steve, David Chandler, Christopher Thomas, Cam Jester, and Ronnie Martin.
They're all
So
guys that can win.
Yep.
I know David can win. Sheep can win. If me and Sheep don't bang doors at Talladega and if my car like actually gets hit by Frank Hughes, then Sheep wins that race. So
That's messed up to think about.
Yeah.
That's messed up to think about.
But you're not wrong.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like Sheep would be in right now if like graphics would like actually work. So, but
You mean physics?
But yeah,
Physics.
whatever. Same thing. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy to think about. Like,
And Ronnie Martin would be
don't
sitting
it?
better if it wasn't for it's racing night, kid.
Oh man.
well, that battle was for 19, so I really don't think that would have mattered. So,
Hey, all points matter.
well, yeah, I guess so. But he'll be okay.
I was dying when he said that. Ronnie, what happened to you? Well, that's racing night, kid, took me out. I was
Speaking
dying.
of that, I need to get a new clip because I accidentally deleted my
What?
my clip last week. Yeah, I was trying to replay it. And
Why?
It didn't go to your
deleted it.
trash?
I was on Snapchat. I have it saved on Snapchat, and I accidentally clicked unsave.
I just want to point out that means he has to message this guy.
I was going to say,
Be like,
message him,
"Well,
ask him
it's
to
fine, he'll
record
do
it.
He'll
and
do
send it to you.
It'll be-
I mean, it's been a tradition for
do
what,
it.
3.5 years now? Like,
But yeah, that's the only reason why it was happening was because we were in our college dorm room and come in, so that's what made it fun. Those were the good old days.
But yeah, Michigan settles it all tonight and tomorrow night. So definitely a good track to end it all on because mayhem is gonna follow no matter what. So it's Michigan's fast, it's wide, and you can go wherever you basically want. And so it's gonna be a good race tonight and tomorrow night. There's no doubt about it. And a lot of these guys are gonna need a good race, and I'm sure a couple of them can pull it out. But
Yeah, good race in the regular season on. So we're kind of I don't know about you guys, but like just trying to get to our like first like official playoff. You kind of feel like that little rush of like, oh, like we got this coming up. So
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that's the way I felt with this weekend.
especially at the rounds, man. I mean, I know we talked about it earlier, but they're not easy rounds by any means. I mean, just look at the first round that we talked about already, but just 3 completely different tracks than each other. No track in the playoff round is a cookie cutter track. None of them resemble each other at all. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be difficult for a couple guys, because you make it to that second round and then you make it to the championship round. There's no one that can say you didn't earn it because these rounds are tough, especially with the field that we are setting up to have. We mentioned it, the field, no matter who makes it, the field all the way around from week 1 to where we are now has been insane. The skill level, and Dylan Tibbetts, I mean, the dude was close to winning Daytona. If I just, raced with a better head and didn't let my emotions get ahead of me, but he probably would have won that race.
Broadcaster took me out.
Yes.
Well, he threw a block that made me mad. And so I said, you know what? You're either making it into turn 3 or you're not. And I just did not get off his back bumper. And needless to say, he didn't make it, and neither did I. So, and I don't think 75% of the field made it through it.
Nope.
But you're welcome, Hunter, by the way. But all right, y'all got anything else for NEXXTCAR side of things?
Nah, except speaking of Dylan, man, he'll be coming back He'll be back for the last race in the first round, and he'll be here for the 4 weeks. So that in race, the second round, the championship race. So I think it's funny that dude gets to come back and see all the drama. So I do be riding around and get to see the fireworks, and Dylan's pretty prone to high fireworks himself. So yeah, I should have y'all should have been here
Oh,
last
man.
night. He randomly jumped in. Y'all should have said hi.
Did he?
Yeah. Shout out to Dylan. Dylan, if you're watching the podcast, what up, Dylan?
Hey, that was a NEXXTCAR winner, Dylan Tibbetts. How about
Exactly.
put some respect on that man's name?
Very true.
Captain too. Captain too.
Yeah.
First season for Mo Power Motorsports.
Yep. But all right, let's swap things over to NASCAR. The round of 12. Man, what a round that was, huh? Texas, Talladega, and the Roval.
How did it end up?
Yeah.
How did it end up for Ross Chastain, Peyton? I forgot what happened. If you would like to enlighten us.
Well, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I don't know how the hell you run out of gas at Talladega in a stage, but he
Did you
did.
blow an engine in the middle of the pack, in the front of the
Look,
pack?
That's possible. See, that makes sense. Like,
So
there's a
it's
reason
running
that
out
all
of
happens
fuel in
and
a
stuff.
strategy race.
No, come on, man. It's Ricky. He has nothing to
NASCAR.
gain. He's literally out there just to win. It's not like him winning the stage changed anything, bro. Just fill it up, bro. Live another day. Ricky ran
It's
out of
not
fuel.
Ricky's fault though.
I was gonna say,
I know.
he's just
I
driving
know.
a thing.
I know.
This isn't Sunoco, and he jumps out of the car and fills it
Yeah.
himself.
He's right. His team messed up. My point is, 47 team that it's worse than front row, by the way. But 2017 failed. Kyle Busch was the poor soul stuck behind him, and just turned down at the wrong time to get around him. So RIP Ross, and that did it, man. There's no way to put it. Like, Ross is in the next round if he doesn't get wrecked and finish last at Talladega. You can't say otherwise because he literally missed by 12 points. All he had to do was finish like 22nd, and he's in. So I mean, that sucks to know. And that's it. He had no stage points either. So if he'd have got some stage points at one point, I mean, that dude really would have been in at Dega. So that hurts, especially when he has the fastest car in practice at Vegas this week. So yeah, that sucks. But I'm still excited for the future. I mean, it takes the wild card round to get Ross out this year, and we have big money sponsorship coming in with Bush, and the team's growing. Zane Smith's gonna be coming in. It's almost like Trackhouse is getting a third car in a weird way. So, future's bright. No Hell Melon this year though. Big sad.
Well, on the flip side of things, my driver made it.
Yeah, I bet. I bet you're real happy. Which is another thing. If Kevin Harvick clutches that up, I don't think Blaney beats Frost in points. So,
Well,
Busch
Harvick
wins
was
up-
getting DQ'd anyway, so it didn't
I
matter.
know. Well,
Yeah.
would he have got DQ'd if he really won? I don't know about it. I just say.
Yes.
Yeah,
If his car would have passed inspection, then yeah.
bro, they took second from him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
second doesn't matter to Kevin Harvick. Only winning does. So
well, I
mean,
get that, but
I get what Peyton's trying to say. Is NASCAR wouldn't take away
I don't-
Harvick's lap.
I get that.
I get what he's saying.
But I think they would have to. There's too
I
many
think-
eyes on.
I
There's
think-
too many
I think
eyes on
you're-
the sport now.
not only
They
that,
could've-
nah, I definitely don't think they would. Because not only would they have took Kevin Harvick's win, but then you change the playoffs. Because Ryan Blaney would have finished second in this scenario. So it'd have been really rough for them to come out and say, "Oh yeah, Kevin Harvick's DQ'd. Ryan Blaney actually won is in the next round." Oh my god, that would have blew up the fan base. So I really don't think they would have did it. I really don't. Especially Stuart Haas would appeal because I mean it's very obvious what happened in the race. They have actual video evidence that the screws just fell out during the race. So
So they
don't
weren't
know.
tight to begin with.
no, they were card jerking around, made them lose. And I bet money Kevin Harvick is not the only guy that happened.
One
to.
guy out of 42 cars.
I can guarantee.
I mean,
it, Kevin
I
Harvick.
love Harvick. I wanted
They
him to
didn't
win that
check
race.
anyone else.
You know,
They only checked the top two and then a random car or whatever. So I guarantee you, if you look through all the cars in the field, there is a lot that had the same problem.
maybe. I
You
don't
know.
know.
Coulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's do
who's
it,
to say at this point?
That's what's fun in NASCAR, man. If you can cheat and not do well, it works out for you. If you have a rigged car and you finish seventh, NASCAR ain't looking at that crap, bro. You got seventh. Congrats. Part of
Hey,
it.
just be glad you guys actually have a driver that actually competes in the playoffs. So
Yeah, exactly. That's what me and Ronnie can agree that both our drivers are on good teams, have nice, stable futures, have a lot of backing, unlike your driver. So RIP on that.
Demoted to Rick Ware Racing.
Not demoted. It's more like his choice. So I mean, I get why he did it, but replacing with Daniel Hemrick kind of sits sorry in my soul.
Honestly, though, it makes sense. Have you watched his Dill Jr. download, Tuck?
Yeah, with Haley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
It
how
makes
he,
sense a
didn't
little bit
have-
on how Keselowski approached him and everything with it, and I can see why. I
could
mean,
see-
looking at how RFK has been this year, I can see why he would take this risk. Honestly,
If I'm Haley, also if I'm also Keselowski, Keselowski's getting up there in age too, as much as don't really think about it, but there could be a possibility him getting a third charter or going into the 6 car or something for Haley. He's signed a multi-year deal with Rick Ware, so he's in the Ford camp now. So and I think he's a good enough driver, and he doesn't tear up equipment for a top team to say hey, come drive my car. So we'll see how that ends up. So I don't think I'll be buying any Rick Ware Racing merchandise next year. I'm just going to be going with the flow. So. I
But
don't even know if Rick Ware sells merchandise. Let alone me buying something, so.
but isn't that what you should do though? Because when you buy merchandise, the driver
it
moves.
helps him.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, that's the
you
thing
buy
that
his
sucks.
merch.
I have a curse with everything I buy. I bought a Nick Chubb jersey literally the year a couple weeks before he blows out his kneecap. So it's a thing. So I literally buy Justin Haley merchandise literally 5 days before he announces he's leaving the 31 car. So why wasn't that stuff on sale? Beyond me, I don't know. But you know what? Screw you, freaking racing Chevy hauler.
Just don't sponsor his car.
Yeah, don't do that. Sorry. Now he has a broken neck. So
Yeah.
Christ.
well.
That's the other thing nice about me and Ronnie. Our drivers are pretty confidently probably going to be on their rides for 5+ years. I don't see Ross or Blaney go anywhere. You don't have that luxury either. But
And
hey, you might get lucky. It might work out for you.
In 5 years, they're gonna Van also is gonna release a book on his downfall, and chapter 4 is gonna be the sponsorship from Matt Tucker.
No. It's the NEXXTCAR Racing League.
Well, you're the one that submitted it.
Well, you know what? It wasn't my name. It was the NEXXTCAR Racing League.
The dude
So-
won Daytona. You decided to throw
I will say this
NEXXTCAR on
though,
the car.
he did not crash out at New Hampshire. His brakes failed, so he did not crash.
I think you're coping
It's
a
still
little
bad
bit.
luck though.
You're starting to change the blame a
Yeah.
little bit. First you took ownership, and now it's NEXXTCAR's fault, man. Come on now.
We made 15 laps at New Hampshire on an Xfinity car with no
That's
brakes.
pretty good.
I think
That's pretty
that
good.
deserves a round
Hey,
of applause.
I will say that's 15 more laps than probably 98% of all iRacing leagues have ever been on a car. So
It came down to about $80 a lap per sponsorship, but you know what? It's okay. So
that's
I wonder
that's
if
good love.
a iRacing league has actually ever sponsored a car.
I'm sure.
I don't know. I mean, we could probably have, but you know
Mhm.
what? We can say we did something that some people haven't. So
Yeah.
so there you go.
And the fact that that paint scheme is in
don't
trading
care.
paints and you can run it on iRacing. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
That's
what's
pretty
fun.
cool.
So even though you can't really see the logo, but you know what? It's okay.
Hey,
so
it's the thought that counts.
still
you
was
know?
on it. Still was
Mhm.
on it. So.
Yep. Yeah, chapter 4 is going to be dedicated to Matthew Tucker.
I'm telling you, I'm still surprised he hasn't got that email yet. Hey man, I'm just gonna be honest, you're not allowed to sponsor us anymore.
Yeah. Rex out,
Should have-
breaks his neck.
Should try to have him
You're
as a
done.
guest. Should try to have him as a guest on this show, just to
Yeah.
talk about how.
Email him,
Apologize.
dude. Email him.
Apologize.
That would be
Hey, man,
awesome. You should email and be like, hey, man, we run a
Just do
podcast.
like a
You know how
quick,
cool it'd be to get some
quick-
NASCAR people on here?
Could like a little
Insane.
20-minute segment of how we ended. Well, not how we ended his career, but how we
Jesus.
joke about.
That's-
His
Bro.
career's still going. He just
Yeah.
I know
has a
his career's
broken
still
neck.
going. Yeah, it's just, and literally we were at the first race where he crashed in qualifying. It's just oh no, that's not good either. So I have a curse. I need to stop.
Well, if
All
I
right,
ever
we're getting off. We're getting off topic. What else do we?
I
need to
ever
talk
get
about?
famous, I will put out a nationwide ban. Matthew Tucker is not allowed to purchase any merchandise of mine.
So what you're saying is I'm not allowed to sponsor your like YouTube channel or your
Nope.
Twitch or your.
No, he'll probably get taken down.
Yeah.
Really will.
If
He'll
you're
get-
ever
Oh, well.
fucking,
He'll get
if you ever
demonetized and taken down.
if Ryan or Nick ever freaking like bail out of NEXXTCAR and like you're chosen to replace one of them, bro, RIP, RIP NEXXTCAR, it'd be
You
over.
guys should just like kick me out of the podcast. That way, like this thing.
Yeah,
goes
I'm
forward.
surprised. I'm surprised
this
you're
thing is
here and it's
I'm
still
surprised
going.
this thing's lasted as long as it has.
I can't believe your team's still doing like you're racing and stuff. I thought as a captain that would just like blow up or something. Like,
Well,
Hey,
it
I
tried
got the
with
best
Camaro,
team, man.
remember?
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, well,
Hashtag I want new team.
yeah,
All right,
I
let's
don't
get
know.
back to
Things
topic
happen.
here.
So
What were we even talking about now?
NASCAR
NASCAR.
round
Oh, yeah,
12.
yeah, round of 12. Yeah, I said on the last podcast that, you guys were questioning whether Ryan would be able to advance or not. And I said, Talladega is going to be his saving grace. And I'll be damned if I wasn't right. He, by about, what was it, 12 one-thousandths of a second able to get the win over Harvick.
Yeah,
First- the first off, I mean, he didn't beat Harvick technically, but
shut up.
He
did.
beat Harvick.
Come on.
yeah,
The photo finish you'll see in the fucking replays for
Yep.
years. Yeah, it'll
That's
be
true.
Harvick.
that's true.
Ain't nobody gonna remember Kevin Harvick got freaking DQ'd. I will say, I mean, we were right on this. That round set up perfect for Ryan, as in tracks. However, even now, I still don't think they had the speed in that 12 car to compete. I really think he's gonna have a hell of a time advancing out of this round. I just don't see it personally. I hate to put a damper on him, but he clutched up, and that was a massive win. Not only just to get out of this round, but that's 5 points he's bringing to the next round. If he doesn't have that, even if he survives this round somehow, he is, oh man, really rough spot. So I can't. I will give credit to Ryan Blaney. It was a bit of a clutch win for him, and he played it perfect. I think Kevin Harvick kind of threw that race. There's no way I would have left the Hendrick guys down there, but he did. And he picked Riley, and it didn't work out for him.
I'll say this though.
Go ahead.
I'll say this though for Blaney for I feel like he's decent enough at Martinsville.
I was going to say
where
that.
he could possibly
Mhm.
possibly like get a win if he's like outside the cutoff. But
He's
Four
gonna have
if
to
he
times-
fall
finishes,
4 times in a row, he's finished second at Martinsville.
yeah,
To Chase Elliott
So-
twice, Truex, and someone else for the 4th time. I don't remember.
and if he finishes, I'll say this: if he finishes top 10 in the stages and top 10 overall, he in the next 3 races, he's making it in no matter what. You can't.
No.
You finish 10th every
Enough.
race. Yeah,
Hey,
someone's
Vegas.
gonna fold.
Vegas
saw-
is a decent track for him.
Right.
I mean, he's starting 12th. As long as some stuff goes his way, he'll be all right.
I mean, Martin Truex Jr.'s best finish the whole freaking playoffs is 18th.
I mean,
So
that's
I
different.
mean,
And he's
I know,
barely
but
squeaked by.
I just
Yeah.
like just you gotta remember last year though. Like Ross was in a really good spot in points last year with winning races and everything. How he did. You gotta remember this dude finished second, and then was running 7th at Martinsville and was out. So I don't think you're getting in with 10th, 10th, 10th. I don't see that.
That and
Right, Lane's gonna have to put on a show.
wasn't Vegas where they were 4 wide, him, Harvick, and then Custer ended up winning as a rookie? Was it Vegas?
that was Kentucky.
Right, that's
Was it
Kentucky.
Kentucky when he came up into Harvick and all that?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Or hit the
Vegas.
drain.
Yeah.
Like get the drain or whatever.
Mhm.
Kind of like how Peyton hit the drain.
Yeah, you hit that drain down. didn't you?
Oh God.
In case you didn't know, there's a drain in Charlotte down there.
Yeah, but anyway, like I could see Blaney stealing another win, man.
Mhm.
I know, like he always gets flack for being that guy that only wins on super speedways and only wins like in fluky situations. But I mean, this is also the second year out of 3 that he's had multiple wins in a season. So, I mean, I could see him possibly. I know Ford hasn't had the speed as what they've liked, but I could see him stealing a win in these next couple weeks and off strategy or because I know the Fords don't forget, like the Fords were like kind of king at Martinsville that first race, so they gonna be everybody's gonna be bringing their best stuff, and I could definitely see Blaney getting a win and making the Final Four, which also I think he would be the favorite then because I feel like Phoenix is also one of his best tracks too.
That's
Oh,
what I was
yeah,
about to say.
definitely.
I will say to add some light to Blaney, if he can find a way to make the Final Four, I think he jumps up to be one of the favorites. I don't know if the favorite, but definitely one of. He wouldn't be the fourth seed underdog going into
No.
that race because he is, Penske and him have always had speed there. It's very easy to forget. I mean, Blaney should have won here like a year ago.
He would
just
have
rode
if he
behind.
won a good teammate.
Yeah, he just rode behind Logano, so
Mhm.
he was way quicker than Logano. He was definitely the quickest car that day. So, if Blaney makes the Final Four, man, watch out. Ford kind of stole the championship last year. They could easily do it again with Blaney.
All I'm saying, he wins this championship. It's a party at Ron's house. Come on over.
We're never gonna hear the end of it. Championship.
I'll get the Mickey Mouse memes ready just to annoy Ronnie. Oh man.
But yeah, let's talk about Truex, man. The guy won the regular season championship, barely squeaked through the first round. A little more comfortable in the second round, but not much. What's it going to take? Obviously, a win. But what do you see them being able to turn around in that 19 camp to make it through this third round? Like, what's it going to take?
I don't. I just
I'm
it's
not finish 18th.
yeah, like I just
Well,
I don't,
historically, he's bad at these tracks.
Exactly.
Besides
Except
Martinsville.
Martinsville.
Martinsville, he's
Martinsville.
strong at. I mean, he owns that track, basically.
I mean, Homestead. He's won at Homestead. He won at Homestead to win the championship too. So I mean,
Yeah, back in
he's won there
16?
2017. But,
Oh, Jesus, my bad.
There.
I was 364 days
I'm
off.
Oh man, I mean, he still won there, but like, I don't know. The Toyota, other than, I mean, he's the only Toyota driver that hasn't done anything, like legit anything, like since like the regular season ended.
I think he's been the slowest Toyota on the track the last 6 weeks on average. It's been pretty rough.
He did qualify 5 today, so I'm kind of interested to see. Now he could go out and win today, and like literally, that would be crazy. Like let's say like he wins today, finishes outside the top freaking 30 the next races, and then wins Phoenix. Like literally, his stats would be so that we'd be talking about like how flawed or how crap the playoff is. Like,
It'd be another Kenseth situation.
Winning is everything. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
I will say though, I think Truex just has too much stuff going on. Like he's got a lot going on off the track right now, and you want to talk about momentum in sports? He has none, like literally none. Everybody's talking about how bad he's been lately. He sees this. It starts this week. He really needs a solid run. He doesn't have to go out there and light it up at Vegas, but he needs to get a few stage points and get a top 10 run. Just something to add a little bit of confidence going the rest of the round will go a long way for Truex. If not, man, it's going to be a struggle. So I don't know what to say about Truex at this point. I mean, like compare him to like Denny Hamlin right now. I hate Denny Hamlin, but Denny Hamlin has a lot of confidence. He's ready for this. He seems battle ready to go. Truex right now seems like a dog limping into a fight that has no shot to win. So I don't know. We need to see some life out of the 19 team, or it's going to be that regular season championship will be all for nothing.
What about Buescher? We talked about how RFK was the big surprise of the season, how they were the strongest Ford camp. Well, yeah, he's only 3 points back, but what do you see coming out of that 17th throughout this round of the playoffs?
I see him because I think he's the wild card to make the championship for, because he also ran good at Homestead 1 year where he went up and stole that first stage. So I think it'd be the coolest NASCAR story if Chris Buescher won this championship this season. Like literally, it kind of reminds. I mean, it's not really the same, like different situations, but he kind of reminds me of Alan Kowicki, kind of in a way. Just like kind of that guy that like just you don't really talk about as much, but it's just been super consistent this season. But I know it's like kind of like different situations with Kowicki being his own.
I can see your resemblance.
But still, like I just feel like that's kind of like the same, like
going
like
up against the powerhouses.
Right, yeah.
I will say,
I would like Buescher to win.
he is. I think you're right on that. He is truly the X factor. Who knows, wild card guy because he's the one guy who's never really been in this situation. We have no idea what Chris Butcher's going to be like on speed. RFK can focus on one card, which is a big advantage. I feel like so they can throw everything they got at Chris this week. But RFK's not been here in a long time. I don't think RFK's ever been here with this playoff
Not in the
format. So
playoffs.
yeah, so and Chris has never been in the situation. So I mean, he could go out there and lay an egg, or he could go out there and run top five every race. He is truly the guy I cannot predict. So he's kind of the exciting one to watch this round because if he can go out here and put on a show, man, it makes this round very, very interesting. So I would like it. Chris Buescher's like probably second or third on the guys list. I'd prefer to win the championship, even though I'm just basically no Denny Hamlin. As long as it's not Denny Hamlin, I'll be happy. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy season for Chris. No matter what happens, huge dub of the season. I mean, if you go in a season and go, an RFK car is going to win 3 races and make the round to 8, oh my God, we'd have been blown away. So
We would have said it was
there's nothing-
Brad.
Yeah.
yeah, we would
Yeah,
have said it was
100%.
Brad. Yeah, we would have said it was
Brad.
Brad. It wouldn't have
Yep.
been Chris. So
Yeah. No.
anything at this point from Chris is just icing on the cake. So they have nothing to lose, and I think that's what's scary about a team like this. We saw it with Trackhouse last year. They weren't supposed to be there. They got there, and it's like, oh crap, watch out! The team that's super confident can go all the way, end up almost winning the championship. I think RFK could be that team this year. So I'm excited to see what Chris does.
Absolutely. Right now, who would you say is the favorite? We're halfway through the playoffs. Who would you say is, I mean, round wise, we're halfway through. Who would you say is the playoff favorite? Or the championship favorite? Sorry.
Like statistically speaking, or just are we talking about this round and if they get to Phoenix, or are we just saying like who's had the best?
Right now, as the playoffs sit, who is the championship favorite?
I hate to say it, but I would probably say Denny Hamlin.
I'd have to agree.
I
I
would
think
say
Hamlin's got all the momentum right now.
I know he's always been the elephant in the room is that he's never won a championship and he's going to be the best driver that's never going to win a championship. But I just think the way that his season's gone, he's had his podcast, he's been more in the limelight. I think it just kind of sits perfect for him with these next couple of races, and he's won at Phoenix too before.
Yep.
So, and he runs good on the mile and a halves. But if
Nice.
not him, then I'd say it's going to be between Hamlin and Larson. I think those two. Because I think Larson, I think, is probably going to be the lock to win at Homestead. So if there's one guy I'm betting to make the championship for, it's Kyle Larson. But I would say Hamlin, statistically speaking, this season.
That's a hard word for
I
you.
would say. Well, you know what? Words are hard. So, but yeah, I would go with if I would rank them my final four, I would put Hamlin, Larson, Byron, and then probably I would put Christopher Bell in there too.
I wouldn't forget about Tyler Reddick and Homestead, by the way. Like
That's
that's
true.
the one fish next. So
Yeah.
I mean, I
That
think
fits in
nobody-
perfectly.
so, yeah. So, but it's hard to kind of gauge that favorite because I mean we talked about it all regular season. This season's been like no one's really just came out and grabbed it. And
Mhm.
last season Joey Logano did. He kind of laid under the cover and then stole it at the end. He grabbed it with a big win at Vegas and then winning at Phoenix. So I don't know. I mean, I think confident wise and just looking at it, I think Hamlin almost has to be. You can see his demeanor. Like I I don't know if we've ever really seen a Denny Hamlin like this. Like he just has that attitude. Like this one's mine. Like this is the season, and he believes it. Like you could tell he fully believes it. He ain't just hyping himself up. He thinks it's his season. But I don't know. I still think those Hendrick cars will be hard to beat. So if I had to like bet money on the champion, I still think I probably would go between Byron and Larson, and I probably would pick Larson due to the fact that William Byron's really never been in this situation. He's had speed this year. He's been a little inconsistent lately. He's not had that speed he had earlier this season, which can kind of go the same for Hendrick. They've not been crazy. Toyota's actually really stepped it up lately, but I still think Kyle Larson will be a hard win or a hard guy to beat at Phoenix. So that's probably the guy I'd pick right now. But it's tight. I mean, I could really make an argument for all the drivers in this round. I mean, like I said, I think speed wise, I'm not really confident in Blaney. I think he's probably near the bottom, but then if he gets to Phoenix, I think he's going to be near the top. So I could make an argument for really anyone.
Absolutely. Who? All right. So going back to last round, I'm pretty sure I know Peyton's picking this, but who is your surprise driver to not advance to this round? Mine's Kyle Busch, 100% Kyle Busch. I thought for sure
I
last round fit him perfectly, but just
I would say Brad just solely off Talladega. I would have thought he would have been the guy to beat there, run more up front. So I would have said Brad, and based off the speed that RFK had shown the previous round too.
mm-hmm.
No, Ronnie, you misjudged me here. I would say it is Kyle. Entering the playoffs, this was the round that scared me for Ross. I mean, road course wise, he's a good road course racer, but Charlotte Roval he's been a little inconsistent with, and Dega's hard to, hard to guess on him. So, this round scared me a lot, and of course it's the one that bites him. But Kyle, I mean, I thought Kyle was, it's hard to really judge Kyle this season because it was his first year at RF or
RCR.
RCR. There we go.
There you go.
I
Words
was
are
going
hard.
through some teams there. We got there.
English is
but
hard.
entering the season, it's like, well, how good is he truly going to be? And then he wins the second race. It's like, holy cow. Okay, this is maybe Kyle Busch is the guy to beat this year.
Mhm.
And then that team started having inconsistencies and showed a little bit of that old RCR stuff. So I don't know, man. Part of me is kind of like not super surprised Kyle missed, but part of me is because Kyle just had that speed this year, and it ended up being just too many mistakes. I mean, you know, Dega was rough for Kyle, but what really did him in was Texas. You wreck out at
Mhm.
Texas with a tire or whatever. At that point, you're just playing catch up, and you're throwing Hail Marys trying to make those points, and it just didn't work out for Kyle. So yeah, I think he'd be my choice.
All right. Who are your 4 picks to make the championship round? Peyton, start us off.
Now go Tuck first, because I don't know.
All right, Tuck, start us off.
I said mine. I said Hamlin, Larson, Byron, Christopher Bell.
Why?
Byron has enough points. Larson, I think, wins. Homestead, he's got enough, and Hamlin runs good at Martinsville. So, and if I'm going off one guy to fall out, Truex has not shown me anything in the playoffs. So I think that's why he falls out. I
Mhm.
think Busher hasn't been kind of in the scenario, so don't really know what to think of him. Tyler Reddick been off and on throughout the season. He's shown flashes, hasn't really shown speed. He's shown speed at Vegas, or not Vegas, it was Kansas. So, but we'll see how that. And Blaney with Ford, Blaney just hasn't really had that much speed this season for Penske's been had a down year. So, if based off process elimination, for me, it's I'll just go points order: Byron, Hamlin, Larson, Bell.
Okay.
All right, Peyton.
I think the first 3 are real easy. I think the interesting battle is that last spot. I'm pretty confident. William Byron's got a big gap. I don't really. He can. He's never been in this situation like we talked about before, but I've got confident Willie B. Hamlin, we've talked about him and his demeanor. It feels like a season he's going to make the Final Four and then choke. I got faith in that. But yeah, I'm going to pick Hamlin to make it. And then Kyle Larson, this round sets up really good for him. These are all tracks that he's won at in the past and been really fast. Or has he won at Martinsville? I guess not. But he's had speed there.
Larson's
so
never won at Martinsville.
yeah, I was about to say he's very
Didn't he
good.
win the 42?
No,
Mm.
I'm thinking the race him and
Oh,
Chase
he won at
like
Richmond.
dominated.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Him and Chase dominated that one time at Martinsville, but he didn't win it.
Yeah.
Anywho, I got faith though in Larson. This round sets up really good. I'd be surprised he doesn't win one of the next 2 races. So Larson's that guy, and then that battle for the last spot, man. It's a throw up because Truex has the points, no momentum, and he has the experience, but literally no momentum. So I worry about Truex. Busher's the true wild card. He could run anywhere this round. No clue on him. Uh, Christopher Bell has now been in this situation before. It's been really quiet this playoffs. He's just kind of the guy that's sneaking around. So can he show up here and be clutch this round? Um, Tyler Reddick, he has one of his best tracks, in this round, so he could really be a player there. And then Ryan Blaney, is kind of the quiet guy here. Wins big at Dega. Can that momentum carry over and him make a run? So it is hard to pick that last guy for me. If I had to throw one out, man, I don't know why, but yeah, Ross comes out and no.
It's a new rule. If you win the next 3 races, you're automatically in.
Part of me really wants to pick Tyler just because I think he's going to have a hell of a race at Homestead, and that could be enough momentum that he gets in. But I just would feel kind of silly if I don't take a Ford. I feel like that would be a little bit mean. I think Ford finds a way to get in there, and this might be bold, but give me the X Factor, man. Give me Chris. That team has all the, confidence in the world at this point. Big dub season. They are the track house this season, and Chris Buescher will continue riding that wave, and I think he finds a way to make it to Phoenix. I don't know what he'll have for him at Phoenix, but I think he finds a way.
Pretty
17,
interesting.
baby.
Well, my first lock is Hamlin. We've mentioned it. He has all the momentum in the world right now. So Hamlin's a lock. Got to go with Larson. I think Larson, these tracks fit him perfectly. He loves running that high line, which Vegas is all about. Homestead's all about. Absolutely loves that line. And then I've got to go with Reddick as the third guy making it, just like Larson. He loves that high line, and these next 2 tracks fit it perfectly for him. And then I got to go with Blaney, man. Martinsville. We mentioned it earlier. 4 second-place finishes. The guy is good at Martinsville. Truex obviously is better, but Truex has shown nothing, like you mentioned, Tuck, has shown nothing throughout these playoffs. Barely squeaked by in the first round after winning the regular season championship and getting those bonus points. He doesn't do that. He's not in the playoffs, So barely squeaked by, didn't show anything in the second round, made it by because of the way everything reseeded. So I think Blaney could be the guy to grab that 4th spot, completely honest. So those are going to be my picks. You got Hamlin, Larson, Reddick, and Blaney.
So you're predicting a massive collapse for both Martin Truex and William Byron.
Absolutely.
He's ranked 1 and 2.
Byron has been very inconsistent lately. He won. All right, he won at, what was that, Watkins Glen? The road course he just won at? That was about the most dominant win he's had in a while. I think it was Watkins Glen.
Bonnie, the last 3 races for William Byron have been second, and first.
I don't see that continuing. I truly don't. Y'all are laughing at me now. Y'all laughed at me when I said Ryan was winning Talladega, but Byron's not advancing. I'm telling you. He's not getting it. Now watch him go out and win today, but
he'll win today, just to say.
Yeah, but I don't see Byron, or definitely not Truex, making it.
Watch those. That's going to be the battle for the win. It's going to be Truex and Byron.
Yeah, they're going to wreck each other. They're going to wreck each other.
They're going to wreck each other, and then good old BJ McLeod's going to come through and steal the win.
BJ, $40 richer, man. We haven't talked about that. Congrats, BJ.
What?
Remember we haven't talked about BJ since he sold his charter. That man got $40 million.
Not $40 million.
Yeah, you said $40.
$40 million.
That's what I thought. I was like, what do you win?
$40 million. $40
Good job. You won $40.
I got 10 cents on BJ not to like finish the race.
Yeah. Did he bet on himself to finish last?
You get my point. All right. Shout out to BJ.
So
either way, it's going to be a very interesting. What happened to you, Tuck?
I don't know.
Your screen went dark.
Oh.
But either way, it's going to be a good run to the playoffs here.
I'm just waiting for Peyton's reaction for the Titans game. There he goes.
Vintage Derrick Henry right there. All right, cool.
Yeah. All right. You want to do our picks for today?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, I'll kick it off. So for my lock, place all your money on this guy to win today. We're going with the guy that's got the and Christopher Bell will lock his way into the playoffs today. Christopher Bell wins at Las Vegas. My long shot. I I this it's just matter of time for this guy wins a race. He's shown very consistent speed throughout these playoffs,
Oh, you better not.
and I am going to go with, as much as I don't like him, I'm going to go with Ty Gibbs as my long shot.
I hate you.
It's a pretty good pick.
Was that your long shot?
Yeah, that was definitely my long shot.
I'm sorry. I'll throw. I'd say Ty.
Oh, you're fine.
Ty Gibbs. So we already know
Hey.
who Ronnie's gonna pick. He's gonna pick Blaney and Corey LaJoy. So.
No, this ain't a super speedway.
Oh, fair enough.
Stupid.
My bad.
What you got, Ronnie?
All right, so I'm gonna go with a guy that's not in the playoffs right now as my lock.
To win.
Yeah,
Cal-
Joey Logano.
okay.
He's gonna be my lock,
Okay.
and then my sleeper.
Indeed.
Chase Elliott. Oh, that's right, he crashed. So is he a
Hey,
sleeper?
Chase Elliott though can still win the Owners Championship, so he's got something to race.
No one cares. The only people that care about that are Chase Elliott fans
I
because
know,
he
that's
is
why
in the
I'm
running
saying
for
it.
absolutely nothing else.
That's why I'm saying that he
They're
can
the
still
only
win
ones
the
that
Owners
care
Championship.
about the championship.
Imagine him winning freaking Phoenix and then like doing a burnout and they're like, why is he doing a burn? Well, I mean, he won obviously, but
No, if
it'd just
Chase
be
wins-
kind of funny.
if that happens, it would be hilarious because he would just have a missing championship for himself because he broke his leg or whatever. So that would be kind of wild to think about that Chase cost himself a championship. But hey, that's
Well,
I guess.
he didn't really cost him a championship. It was kind of just circumstances. Life happens.
Yes, you're right. I fully agree with that. But from far away, you look at it, he wasn't out there. If ifs and buts, just saying,
All right.
he didn't make the choice to go.
My
All right, who's your long
sleeper
shot?
is going to be Eric Almirola.
What the?
Yeah. Dude, I couldn't pick anybody, all right?
You picked the guy that's going to finish like 25th in this race.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
watch him
Ronnie.
win.
hey!
He ain't winning the damn
Qualified
race.
13th, man.
Yeah.
He qualified at the top
He
top
ain't.
15.
Yeah, he ain't finishing there. Okay. I'd be if fucking, he finishes top
Whoa,
15.
profanity.
Like, look, man, this isn't. Look, man, we like budget, door bumper clear or whatever, man. This ain't a PG. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anywho, point being, there's no way. But hey, I respect the gutsy call, Ronnie. It takes a lot of guts to pick a guy who's, been on a terrible team all season to, show out. So
I can't
Yeah,
wait for him to win today.
I can't wait for him to finish like top 5. He'll pull a Riley and just show out a middle of nowhere. Like,
You're
anywho,
us.
anywho,
Sweeps the league.
yeah, right. With non-playoff drivers. I'm gonna go with 2 non-playoff drivers. Ironically, both have different stories going this race. This is one of Ross's top 2 favorite tracks. I'm gonna pick him. I know I'm picking.
And
my
you were
favorite
giving
driver.
me shit for
Blah, blah,
Almirola?
blah blah blah. I know. Hey, look, listen. Fastest in practice. He choked his qualifying lap. Yeah, well, but this has been Ross's like one of his best tracks. I think statistically probably is. I mean, he's finished top 2 here a lot. So
Nashville's his best track.
I mean, okay, maybe statistically, maybe, but I'd say tracks that Ross loves: Nashville, Vegas, and Darlington. So it's on the list, and I'm gonna take Ross this week. I mean, Trackhouse is annoyed that they missed out. They know they should have been here. So I think it's a team that has no pressure. They can go out for the win. That's all they're doing is trophy hunting. So I'm gonna pick Ross today. And the sleeper, on the flip side, is another non-playoff driver. I'm gonna take Bubba. This is a track that he has a history at that did not go well for him with the Kyle Larson thing. But no matter what you want to say, it was a win for Bubba this season. He had one hell of a season, way better than anyone predicted. So it's a team now that's just trying to build on and get ready for next season to hopefully take that next step and be a true championship hopeful. And Tyler Reddick, this is a track he's good at. I'd imagine Bubba can learn a thing or two from Reddick this week, and I'm expecting a good run for Bubba. Both 2311 cars should be, well inside the top 10. Maybe not well, but Bubba should run around that 10th range. So I'm gonna take Bubba as a sleeper.
Almirola is definitely beating Bubba.
You want to bet? You want to put anything on it?
He's
You put anything on
100%
it?
What we
beating
got?
Bubba.
What we got? What we
You
got?
wanna put anything
What
on
we
it?
got?
I'm pretty good at winning bets, in next car. They're all with Tuck. So let's see if you got any better luck.
Yeah, but you don't place my
Come
sports
on,
bets
come on,
there.
Ronnie. You want to bet?
You know darn well I
Live
don't
on
bet.
stream.
You know
See,
darn well I
Look,
don't bet.
look, that just proved Ronnie talking crap, man. He can't put his money where his mouth
Heck,
is.
at least
See?
Ronnie picked. Me and Ronnie picked legit long shots. You picked a guy that's made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're saying Bubba isn't a sleeper? Are you kidding? Do I need a change?
You make the playoffs, you're not a sleeper. That's literally been a thing all season long. But
Bubba
hey,
hasn't won
you
a
do
race
you.
this year. And
Technically, though, Bubba is not in the playoffs right now.
Bubba
so there you
Bubba
go.
has
There
been
you go.
picked as a sleeper multiple times this season. How is Bubba now not a sleeper? Okay, if he's not a sleeper, that's big dub for Bubba. That really proves he had a good fucking
Because
season.
he's not a sleeper because it's 11:30 a.m. and it's not 2:30 p.m. and he's not up yet.
Okay, well,
like Peyton.
if Bubba's not a sleeper, okay, just for the record, if we're gonna cheat me out of a Bubba sleeper pick, then let's go with I don't freaking know. See, now that's messed up. How are you gonna claim freaking Eric Almirola is gonna beat Bubba for sure, and that's allowed,
Let's
but not
look.
Bubba? That doesn't even make sense.
Let's look at the odds on this to win.
And Ty
So,
Gibbs has ran like top 10 lately. Like he's ran better than Bubba, and
But
he's not a
he
sleeper.
didn't make the
Did he
playoffs,
make
though.
the playoffs?
Come on, Ty Gibbs has run
That
better
was
than Bubba
literally
lately.
the thing all season long. We based it off the top 16 in
Right.
standings.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Get wrecked.
Get wrecked.
Whatever.
Get tucked. All right.
It was-
So here we
it
go. So Bubba Wallace's odds to win today are 19-1. Ty Gibbs is 35-1, and Eric Almirola is 200-1. So who's the one that actually has a real sleeper? Me and Ronnie, kind of.
Yeah,
sort of.
so pick again.
What is fine? What is Alex Bowman's freaking
31.
odds to win?
That's
Is
a
that
sleeper.
good enough?
Yes, that's a
Okay.
sleeper.
That's still less than Ty Gibbs and
But Bowman's a
Eric
sleeper
Almirola.
100% because he didn't make the playoffs.
fair enough.
So-
That's true. There you go.
Man.
I know.
That's
You
16.
can take
Throw it all out. No, forget all that. I ain't taking freaking Bowman. Give me freaking Carson Hocevar. Dude had a lot of speed in practice. Dude has been a stud lately. He ain't in the damn playoffs because he's not even the damn series.
No, it doesn't
So,
count. He made the
Carson
playoffs for
Hocevar.
Truck
I don't
Series.
care. Shut up.
You can't
okay?
pick a part-time driver, not allowed.
I don't want to hear it. Carson Hocevar. Move on.
Yeah, he's not full time. You're not allowed to pick him.
We're like NASCAR, just making up rules as we
There's
Yeah,
he didn't have
bullcrap.
enough starts to
go. You can
come up with
have-
good statistics.
You can have Bubba.
You can have Corey LaJoy.
I don't want either of them now. I want Carson.
You can have Corey
Bubba's
LaJoy.
19-1.
No.
You can have him.
No, I don't want Bubba. I don't want Bowman either. I want Carson.
$5 to win on Bubba wins you
The ship-
$100. So
the
I don't.
ship-
I don't.
The ship has sailed. I'm on Carson now. Okay, you did this. We roll with the boy.
And Bubba's gonna win today. He's like, I told you.
I'm gonna be mad. Bubba
I
runs top
told you.
5 all day. Just looks like a stud. And Carson like wrecks out lap 2 or something. Oh my lord. Whatever.
I mean, I'd be
I'll-
laughing.
I would not be laughing. But on record, I tried to pick him. But, you
Oh
know.
my gosh.
All right.
I
Well,
realized picks were that serious, man. We have like a whole rule book. Where's the rule book
we
at?
literally said it all season long.
We just made it
Man.
up.
Man, I think somebody picked Ross one week when he like hadn't had a top 10 finish in like 8 weeks.
Ain't
Like,
a
and he was
single
sleeper.
person besides you pick Ross Chastain this
Not
season.
true. Not true. Tuck took him.
I picked Ross one week. I figured where I picked him at though.
He picked him a couple of times, but
As a
like the last
sleeper,
time he
though?
picked him, he was like, "This is the last time I pick."
Yeah,
Ross
see, it
all week."
wasn't a sleeper pick.
Look, okay,
I picked him as a lock.
Yeah,
man, I ain't going through all the podcasts to see what happened. Anyways,
because you know you're wrong.
whatever.
Ooh.
You know what? Next week I'm picking Kyle Larson as my sleeper.
What?
But
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm just glad. Bubba should be happy if he's not considered a sleeper anymore. That's impressive. Dude hadn't even won a race this season. He's not even a sleeper anymore.
Because he made the playoffs.
Dude's won 2 races his whole career.
He was the 16th seed making the playoffs. Barely squeaked in.
All right.
No.
Would you consider? All right. Let's talk about this. Would you consider Michael McDowell a sleeper?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was in the playoffs.
Okay.
Michael McDowell won a road course random race. Is Ricky Stenhouse a sleeper? Absolutely.
Not really.
Michael
He made the playoffs.
McDowell is 200 to 1, and Ricky Stenhouse is 250 to 1.
Yeah, look, they have way terrible more odds. But they were in the playoffs.
They have more odds than Eric Almirola. If that tells you
See?
anything.
I should get a bonus point for picking Almirola. He's a true sleeper.
I will say this though, if you guys really want to throw like a legit out there, 200 to 1 is Chase Briscoe. I legit think he could possibly get a run.
That was
today.
the
He
last
could have a
time.
really good run tonight.
Yeah, I know.
He ran top 10 there like last season. I know he was in the
200.
playoffs still. He's pretty good here. Like hell, I think he stayed out at one point and almost won the race. Yeah, Ross had to freaking pass him, and then Austin Logano ended up catching
People
Ross.
forget that Chase Briscoe made the round of 8 last year.
Yeah, man.
Crazy to think about. And he was a couple laps away from winning Martinsville.
Mhm.
Trust me, I know. That's my other boy, man. It's been a rough season for him.
But all right, fellas. Anything else for today's podcast? We're at an hour and a half here.
Tune in to our Noggle 9 tonight. Watch the regular season finale at Michigan. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it is. Especially, I'm excited. Got a new camera pack. Shout out to David for helping me set it up and everything. Shout out to him. Got a new camera pack and everything. I'm excited. A lot of new different angles.
Let's take a vote here. Who wins the regular season championship tonight? Don Francesco, Peyton, or Nick?
Oh God, you're really gonna make me pick.
Yep, you got.
Well,
You're the broadcaster.
I
so.
can't pick Nick Trudeau.
Maybe you should just like pick a favorite. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Who's the favorite tonight to win the regular season championship?
To win the championship?
And who gets in between Ingram and Steve?
Just know I don't care what you say.
Steve 100% gets in. Steve 100% gets in. I think Ingram have the speed, but Steve's just got that, 16-point gap? 11? Something like that?
15.
15. So Steve's got the points. So I think he gets in. But for the regular season championship, I can't believe I'm about to say it. Nick, if you're still watching, dude, you're going to have to screen record this because it's never going to come out of my mouth again. But I think Nick Trudeau could pull it off tonight.
It's kind of crazy to think about Nick's third in the points. So I feel like he hasn't done anything.
I mean,
I'm not saying that wrong because he ran great last year. But
Yeah,
like legit, I feel like he won the stage at Pocono. But I feel like that's the only thing.
That was the only thing he's honestly done all season. He's just been consistent.
Right.
You know, that's consistency is key.
Fifth and 10th the whole time, and I mean,
yeah.
It's
nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying,
No.
I feel like he hasn't been anywhere.
I mean, it's got him into a regular season battle, you know?
Right, yeah.
It's no secret this season has been frustrating for Nick. I mean, he had a bunch of speed last season, and I feel like a lot of guys have really upped their game and now Nick has a lot of competition. He's not had the results he wanted. He's not had the wins. He's not, had the consistent speed he had before. But he's hanging out. Like, he's kind of lurking in the back. He's always kind of right there if anything happens. He's been there all season. He's like been one step behind. So, everybody, you talk to drivers and stuff, they come talk to me this week and it's like, you and Don Francisco, it's going to be a crazy battle at Michigan. Man, we cannot forget about Nick. I'm not forgetting about Nick, man, because any moment I could see Nick just going out there. He could win Michigan, just steal it all, get all the spotlight entering in the season. So, yeah, I like to pick a Nick because he kind of feels due at this point. So I would be surprised if he doesn't have a really good run tonight.
Then he has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You and Don Francisco have it all to lose. He came into the race anyway, third, 4 points behind. If he doesn't get it, it is what it is. You and Don Francisco have all the pressure. If one of you guys don't win it and Nick does, well then, But,
and for the viewers that say, like, it's not that big a deal. You're all in the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. To put it in perspective, the regular season champion gets 15 playoff points, just like real NASCAR. 15. That's a lot. Third gets 8. That's almost half. and we're separated by 4 points. So one guy's going to leave here as a big winner. Second place gets 10. That's pretty good. It's not, it's 5 points missing. The guy who finishes third, man, is going to be really disappointed because he threw away over a race win, a whole sweep of a weekend is 6 points. That's how much he lost out on. So it's a bit stressful.
Yeah, that first stage is going to be very interesting to see how you guys play out because I haven't really looked. Because how long is the first stage tonight?
40?
40 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how long we can go on a fuel run, but
That's
I
quick.
don't know if we can make 40 laps on gas. So it's going to be interesting who.
Well, the whole race tonight's what, 90 laps?
90 laps. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a quick one.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, that qualifying will be key.
Yeah.
It'll be so important. If any three of us start like outside the top 10, man, it's gonna be an uphill climb all night long. Oof. Gotta run those qualifying laps.
Got to see how Ingram and Steve play the first stage too. There's two battles going on like that. Ronnie's not gonna know who to watch. Like it's gonna be the battle for the regular season championship and the battle to get in the playoffs.
That's fun. We have a bunch of battles and stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, that gives Ronnie a bunch of stuff to talk about.
Exactly.
And he's
That's
got
what's
inner
fun.
battles. I mean, he can go look at guys in the middle of the standings.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of battles there. So, a bunch of battles to watch tonight. It's as always in NASCAR. It's not always just about the battle for the win. There are battles all across the track, and there's a lot of exciting ones tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Both races are gonna be really good. So definitely, not gonna want to miss them. That's for sure.
Yeah. And before we end off the podcast, in case I do choke and don't get an interview tonight, I would like to announce that Big Creek Kennels has a brand new litter of puppies. Woo! We had 7 beautiful puppies born, yesterday. So, hey, it's time. Anybody wants to get a puppy, hit them up. There you go. Short shout out to them. I'll have a long one tonight if I get an interview. Be warned.
And you're gonna finish 13th.
Yeah,
W Energy gives you focus and drive.
man.
Use 10% off. Use code MTucker for 10% off W Energy.
He's got a good point. If I would drink W, man, I might be as quick as Tuck. It gives that nice drive to him. So
Tuck hasn't won this season.
yeah, hey,
Dude,
in
I'm
Cup,
winning
man.
Cup twice.
Yeah, in Cup, man, he's got a lot of speed.
Well, you won because every single person wrecked at New Hampshire on the last lap.
No, I literally led the most laps. I led the most laps. I played the right strategy.
Oh,
And you
God.
know what? By golly, freaking Martin Truex Jr. wins the race in New Hampshire, and good old JJ Yaley finished second. So,
That is disrespectful. You did not have to do Steve like that at all. That is ridiculous.
Poor Steve.
Why? You know what?
I'm just teasing him.
That's crazy.
I'm just teasing. It's a
You really-
joke.
That's I don't care. It's a joke. That's some disrespectful stuff right
It's
there.
funny.
Jesus Christ. I will say
let's end this thing.
Yeah, let's end it.
We got our
Lord.
Sundays. We got NFL football to watch. Dude. Go Browns. Go
Freaking-
PJ Walker.
All
CBS
right.
has looked out for me.
Oh man.
All right, well, that is going to do it for this week's NEXXTCAR Podcast. Tune in tonight for the Truck Series to see who's going to make up your 16 field for the Truck Series playoffs. And tomorrow night is the Cup Series side of things. Well, it don't get any easier if you do make the playoffs. So it's going to be a good race tonight. A lot of battles all the way around, and I can't wait for this one to play out. So make sure you tune in tonight at 8 p.m. as we're going to start it a little early tonight and talk about everything that is at stake. So I hope to see you guys then. If not, enjoy the rest of your week, and good night.